All right, hello. Welcome to our informational session for the Graduate Student Writing Support Institute, hosted by Educational Writing Services. I am Dr. Candice Chambers, and I will be serving as the head instructor for the Institute. So, welcome. In the chat, please state your city, your state, and your graduate program, and then we will go from there. Nice, nice. Thank you so much. All right, so here's our agenda. I will talk a little bit about who I am in the company itself. Then I will give you a brief overview of what the Institute entails. We'll talk through the curriculum outline, deliverables, application logistics. We'll do a short Q&A, and then we will adjourn. Just a little bit about who I am. So I'm the owner and CEO of Educational Writing Services. We edit over 350 manuscripts a year. We work closely with graduate student writers on their culminating manuscripts, so such as their dissertations, theses, and also capstones. We've been in business for 8 years, so since 2017. As an instructor, I serve as an English professor of English composition and business writing. I teach part-time in person at Central Piedmont Community College, and I teach online at University of North Carolina at Greensboro. I have served as assistant director at the Writing Center at the University of Alabama and also a graduate student writing specialist at Ashland University. I've presented at different conferences and have published academic articles. I earned my doctorate degree in curriculum and instruction, and my bachelor's and master's degrees were in both in English. So again, about the company, we were started in 2017. We provide editorial services for students and professionals, and the workshop arm of the company includes our training institutes. So this is one of our two training institutes, and yeah, so you can disregard that. So yeah, this is one of our training institutes, and online, if you go to the website, you'll be able to see multiple people that we work with, as far as graduate students on their culminating manuscripts, such as their dissertations. All right, so many graduate students have concerns, and so we try to highlight some of those concerns in the Institute for graduate students to be able to learn how they can use the resource, which is Institute, to address some of those concerns. One concern is I have just started my graduate program. How do I prepare for academic writing? Now, we know that there are many graduate programs that will help students get acclimated to the writing process. But it's also really great to hear just good grounded advice of taking just a purely writing class about writing and research on the graduate level. How do I organize my thoughts to write about literature? Literature reviews really hit home for a lot of people. And so we try to establish the institute to help you understand how to actually write about literature in an academic way. How do I balance my personal responsibilities with my writing obligations, right? So many people are returning back to school through the graduate school, and so that sentiment or question comes up about like how do I maintain that work-life balance? I've heard of tech tools, but how do I use them ethically to write and research? So we have various tools from Grammarly to ChatGPT to Claude, Gemini, lots of different tools out here. And we are hoping to share some of those tools with our audience. How do I work alongside my committee members? And so it's very interesting. You have to navigate various different personalities with your writing. And so how do you balance that as a writer? And then I need help with time management. What are strategies to implement? And so we had a whole night dedicated to writing strategies because time management is very important. So the Graduate Student Writing Support Institute will feature tailored lessons to assist graduate students with their research and writing. We will create action-based game plans at the end of the institute. You also learn different strategies for time management, research, and goal setting. We have a lot of different guest speakers who will be coming in, and so they will come in to give you their insights. They come from different various disciplines, and so we'll dive into a little bit more. So just for foundation, the Institute is designed to support, motivate, and encourage graduate students at any stage of the writing process. Participants will learn tools and strategies on how to navigate the research and writing process, how to navigate working relationships with committee members, and how to make a game plan to actually move forward. This institute is for new grad students, so you just started your program, and also continuing graduate students, or even those who are on the back leg, the last leg of the race, to finish their projects or their manuscript. So the Writing Institute will be held for 6 weeks. All right, once a week with virtual engagement. It's going to be on Tuesdays from 7 to 8 p.m. We'll run from September the 16th to October the 21st. So week number one will be understanding your purpose and your writing process. In this week, we will discuss just your purpose for attending graduate school, some of those fundamental steps of the writing process, and also like how do you figure out a topic to even go about for your writing. Next is writing about research. Oftentimes it's very difficult to write about research, and so we're going to talk about how do you enter a scholarly conversation based on information that may be in your field that you need to understand, like how do you look through the literature? How do you establish your voice? How do you establish that gap in the literature? Next is week three, which is leveraging writing strategies. So this week we'll talk about um, making a writing schedule, also making determining your writing setting. So is it best to write outside, inside, coffee shop, library? We're just talking about different strategies for your writing. October 7th, which is week four, is all about tech. So integrating technology to assist with the writing process. And so we will talk about that for week number 4. And then for week number 5, we are going to talk through navigating relationships and balancing work-life challenges during the writing process. So this looks like how do you write when you are working with various committee members and professors. Also, as you are maybe navigating children and work responsibilities, how do you continue to make sure that you're on schedule and that you're writing as you should to complete your final goal. And then the last week will be our panel discussion, and that's where we will have panelists who come in to talk about their specific strategies that they've learned for writing and research, and they come from various different disciplines, and they will come for week 6, and that's when we will really talk about tangible steps for a game plan. All right. So as far as timing, all sessions will be held for 1 hour once a week via Zoom. The first half of the hour, I will be presenting information about the topic of the day. We will also have conversations pertaining to that topic. Then the last half of the time, we will have a guest speaker who comes in and shares their personal tips and strategies as it pertains to the writing or research process. The sessions will be recorded just like this one is. So you can also choose a recorded option if that works best for your schedule, but everyone will receive the Zoom link to all the sessions. At the end, all participants will create a milestone tracker, a writing schedule, and then also complete reflective purpose journals each week. Again, this is to serve as motivation throughout the writing process. And then other logistics here, for all weeks of the Institute, guest speakers will present on their personal experiences as graduate students. As you can see on the yellow graphic, these are the speakers who will come each night of the Institute to speak to everyone. They will be covering various topics. And then on the last night, we will have a panel discussion with the speakers who are at the bottom. They come from different disciplines, different doctoral degrees, and one of them is actually still in their doctoral program, so she'll be able to talk about what she's actively doing to finish her dissertation. We will also use Google Classroom for all correspondence. That includes when you're submitting your deliverables as well. So lastly here, to fully enroll, attendees can complete the registration form and pay in full or the deposit. It's $295 for the 6 week experience. It's pretty much like $50 a session if you divide it by the 6 weeks. And you can pay in full, or you can do a pay half now, pay half later, or you can pay in full with no interest. But as far as payment, I do believe that the strategies that we share will really move you forward in your writing. It's money well spent, I should say, because you are making an investment in understanding the process of writing. Oftentimes, we're thrown into graduate programs, and like sometimes we get really good feedback on our writing or good writing instruction, but to have a place where you can really ask questions and get really good tangible tips is really invaluable. Only a set number of people will be able to be accepted for the fall cohort. So first come, first serve. And for those who watch the recording, you will be able to get a coupon code for attendance. You actually get $50 off of the program with the code graduate. Applications are due September the 16th. Make sure you secure your spot ASAP. All right, so I will close here. And so thank you guys. As you're watching the recording, let me know if you have any questions or concerns. My email address is on the slide. But other than that, I hope to see you guys there or someone that you know. So have a good night.